We're going to start by talking about research logs. So let's talk about how to put that work you just finished in Calger into a research log. What's a research log? It's a way for you and me to see what you've done so far, what you found there. It helps you find holes in your research. It helps you remember to follow up on that one fork in the road when you put it aside temporarily to follow the other one. And whether you use the outline format or the chart/spreadsheet format, you're going to have the same information in your research log. You're going to list the resource that you're using. You're going to list the search terms or the query that got you there. You're going to list what you found useful when you got there. And then you're going to follow it up with the citations you found there, the date you accessed it, and whether or not it's good law or still up to date. So all of these pieces are going to be there no matter which option you choose. I find the outline version easier to use, but feel free to use the one that works best for you. So the legal issue was right of publicity. Research the legal issue you identified, right of publicity. And to briefly describe it, you researched in Calger. So how do you put all of this work into a research log? Well, think of the resource as the tool that you used to find more law. So here, the tool that you used to find more law was Calger, but specifically it was Calger section 162. So the resource is Calger 162, and then how you got there, the trail you took to get to 162, and what you found once you arrived at 162. You read it, and this is what was there of value in this section. It was apparently chock full of value. You found multiple cases. You found answers to both question 5 and question 6, briefly describes the action. It answers whether it's controlled by statutory or case law. It is both a common law and a statutory right. All that good stuff was in here. So that's the usefulness and findings that goes into your research log. And then the citations. I like to incorporate it into here because it makes more sense that way to my brain. You can list the citations down here if that's easier for you. But here we have our citations interspersed with the usefulness and value, the date I accessed it, which was in the fall when I did this, and then the updatedness for a secondary source is not the good law analysis that you do for a primary law, but instead it's just when was it updated. So this is when Calger's coverage was last updated when I was using it. Okay, so that's how you incorporate your answers into a research log, and we're going to be using this in practice. Let's keep going. Question 7. What are the elements of the cause of action? And then it said, remember your answer to 6. And your answer to 6 was, this cause of action is both statutory and common law. So we're going to look at the elements for both statutory and common law. So there's 2 parts to this answer. And if you want to walk through a step-by-step guide for how to go answer questions 5 through 7, you can QR code this on your phone. You can click the link in the slides and go to the Tango that'll walk you through these answers. But I just want to show you again how to put these answers into a research log. So these are the 2 parts to our answer. Part 1 was the elements of the common law tort, and part 2 was the elements of the statutory. And so these 2 parts are going to require 2 entries in the research log because you get them from different sections of Calger. So the elements of the common law we found in Calger 163, and the elements of the statute we found in 164. So these are 2 more entries in our research log. So resource 2 is 163. This is how I got to 163. I got there from 162. That's totally legit. What I found useful when I got there, I found the elements. These are the citations. There were a lot of them. This time I didn't intersperse them. The date that I accessed it, and it's the same source with the same updated date as my prior resource. Over here, I moved on to 164. How did I get there? What did I find useful when I got there? I found the answer to the elements, as well as a lot more primary law. So far, all 3 entries in our research log have been different sections of CalJUR. Each of those sections is a different entry because each of them has usefulness, findings, and value. All right, so that's part 1. Let's work together through part 2. We're going to locate a relevant secondary source on Westlaw and a relevant secondary source on Lexis. So for each of these, we're going to look for a jurisdiction-specific and a state-specific, jurisdiction-specific and a topic-specific secondary source to look for, because we've already looked in the encyclopedia, we used CalJUR, so we're getting more specific. So I'm going to switch over to my browser and we'll work through how to do that on Westlaw first and then how to do it on Lexis. So bear with me. Okay, here we are on Westlaw. So we're going to find a topic-specific, jurisdiction-specific secondary source on the right of publicity. So we're going to go to State Materials, California. We're going to look for secondary source, all of them. But we do want to limit by topic, so we're going to go to torts. And also we want to get just the texts and treatises. We don't want law reviews, right? So just texts and treatises. And then I'm going to apply. And now I have California texts and treatises on torts. So this is what we've got in Westlaw. Let's see, we don't need malpractice. Possibly Cal Civil Practice torts, or maybe Civ Pro before trial. I don't know. In order to decide fully, we can search within them for right of publicity, and also we learned in CalJUR that it's called appropriation of likeness. So we're going to ignore all these suggestions, hit the orange button. And here we've got some results in, yeah, that Civ procedure before trial one. Lots of them in there. Maybe that's the one we're going to pick. Oh, there's also California Civil Practice torts. So both of these are relevant. I think we could find something in either one, and that's our Westlaw. So the next thing is to do the same in Lexis. So in Lexis, we're going to go to State, California. We're going to go to secondary sources. Here we go, treatises, guides, and jurisprudence by practice area. These are all the practice areas. We're going to select. So we're going to scroll down to torts. Torts, let's see. Attorney's Guide to Damages, Products Liability. Here's a tort guide. And California torts, motorists, unfair competition. So we're going to search these two, or just pick one for, again, right of publicity. Appropriation of likeness. Cal torts is coming up a lot. I think they're all in Cal torts. So we're going to pick Cal torts for this one. And then just to show you one more way of doing it, we could have gone to the guide, the library's secondary sources by subject guide. We would have gone to torts, and we would have looked in the California side. And let's see, we've got the Westlaw one here. Lexis, Cal torts. And maybe personal injury. I don't know if it would be in there. Anyway, there we go. So we've worked through those. I'm going to switch back to my slides. All right. And then we're going to look at number 10. How would you locate a relevant secondary source if the legal issue was governed by federal law? I would still look for secondary sources based on jurisdiction and topic. But maybe instead of starting with jurisdiction, I'd start with topic. That's usually a good way to find federal stuff. So look for treatises on torts rather than jurisdiction specific. I'd also look at the other half of that secondary sources guide from the library, the other half that wasn't the California half. And then number 11, how would I look at a secondary source if the legal issue was governed by a state law that wasn't California? So I think I might use the same method as California, but pick the other state. I would see, if that other state had an encyclopedia, which I skipped over for California because we'd already looked at it, but I'd probably look for an encyclopedia in that other state. I would also maybe Google to find a research guide for that state and see if another library put together a research guide like ours. And finally, if that didn't work, I might try like a national source, like a national encyclopedia like AmJur, to see if they cover the law from whatever state I'm looking at. All right, so now we're ready for you, again, to work on your own for part 3. So part 3, you're going to access this California statute on Westlaw. You're going to answer questions 12 through 14, and then you'll come back for the next video. I will see you there.